Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am Claudia, the Millennial Homemaker, and today's video is actually in collaboration with Shauna and Davine. And we're going to talk about our year-end homeschool reflections, what worked, what didn't work, what we're changing, what we're keeping. So I will leave the playlist down in the link in the description down below, so make sure to when you're done with this video, click it and see what other homeschool mamas are reflecting on our 2023-2024 homeschool year. So how did this homeschool year go? So we just finished our 2023-2024 homeschool year about a week and a half to 2 weeks ago. And that is the end of our fourth year homeschooling, which is kind of crazy that I'm even saying it. But here we are. And overall, I think we had a very good homeschool year. There are some things that did not work for us, but there was a lot of things that did. Not necessarily just curriculum, but the rhythm that we were um, going with and the things that we changed during the course of the homeschool year. So, first, let's talk about what did work. So, for my oldest, my fourth grader for this past homeschool year, what worked for her was our language arts. We did the good and the beautiful, and that worked very well for her for this last homeschool year. She actually um, finished level 3, and we actually started on level 4 towards a little bit before the middle of the homeschool year. So, that being said, it is the first year that we don't finish all of our curriculum, but that's because we did switch up a lot of things kind of midway through the year. So, her language arts worked for her. Our history curriculum is just, it has worked so great for us. We're sticking through it. If you saw my last homeschool video where I collabed with Stephanie, we went over what we're going to be using next school year, and you I have already seen that we're going to continue with our history curriculum, story of the world. The girls love it. I love it. It has just worked great for our family. Even our first kindergartner and preschoolers sit and listen to it, and it has just been really, really, really good for our family. So history worked well for us. My youngest, my kindergartner, her math with the good and the beautiful, she actually loved it. um it worked very well for her. She finished it. She just thrived on it. That being said, it's not what we're going to be using next school year, but that's okay. She just really, really enjoyed it, but I wanted a different approach for her. So our homeschool rhythm changed midway through the year. We kind of were doing the morning menus at the beginning, and that worked for a little bit, but as my oldest got older, um just things needed to be readjusted. So what we did this homeschool year is we focused on, for morning time, we focused on reading the Bible, which we were reading a psalm a day. We were doing that. We were doing, obviously, our catechism. We were singing some hymns. We were reviewing our Old Testament books. And what were we doing? And memory verse. So that switched over from our morning menus that we were using before, and that worked very well for us. And we stuck it through. The girls actually learned some Bible verses. They learned most of their Old Testament books, and we just had a really good time reading a psalm every morning while we were having breakfast or while we were just getting ready to start the day. So that was the new homeschool rhythm that we were doing, and it worked out until the end of the school year. It's probably what we're going to be working on and how we're going to be doing our next homeschool year. All right, so what did not work? let's start with the kindergartner. So we were doing the good and the beautiful language arts, and we did it for about a month, maybe two, maybe a little longer, but it was just pulling teeth. It was just it wasn't a good fit for her. So I started looking into a new curriculum. Thankfully, again, Stephanie, my friend, she was actually selling her Horizons curriculum, which is one of the um, companies and curriculums that I was looking into switching her to. So we ended up leaving the good and the beautiful and switching to Horizons, and she has done so well. Obviously, we didn't finish because we started mid homeschool year, but she finished the first book and half of the second book, and she has just thrived on it. It has been so good for her. It's easy to use. It's easy instructions for the instructor, the teacher. So that's what we're going to be using next year. It has worked very well for her, and we're just going to stick through it. Now, again, what worked? History? No. Another thing that did not work for us, unfortunately, was our science curriculum. And we were actually kind of bummed about it because we had used Gather Around Homeschool curriculum before. We did the North American Birds, I think is what it was called, and we loved it. We enjoyed it. It was something that we looked forward to every single day. So we were really excited to use it this homeschool year for Earth Science. We we didn't do it. It just didn't work. We did maybe 10, 12 lessons, if that. Um, but it was just not something that we were gravitating towards. It was not something that we were excited about. It felt a little redundant in certain areas. So we actually just stopped using it. It's kind of sitting on our shelf, and it has been sitting there for quite a few months. Um, so next year we are going to be switching up our science curriculum as well. And again, I've already mentioned to you guys what we're going to be using next homeschool year. So I'll also link that video in the description down below so you guys can take a look at what I'm going to be using for our 2024-2025 homeschool year. So for my fifth grader, we are also going to be switching her back to teaching textbooks, which she is very excited about. We tried the Good and the Beautiful math this year for her, and she didn't like it. She was not a fan of it. We felt it was more on the what's it called, the spiral method, where it kind of like goes back. It doesn't really go through a whole concept, and she thrives a lot better when she is introduced to a concept and then like masters it before she goes into another concept. So she struggled a lot with math, and she loves math. So this was a challenge not only for her to realize that she just wasn't enjoying math after 3 years of being her favorite subject. She was just giving up, and it was not worth it. So she asked if we can go back to teaching textbooks next year. So that's exactly what we're going to do. She really enjoyed it. The only reason we switched this year was because she wanted to try something new. So we went ahead and did that, but she realized that it wasn't for her, that she really likes teaching textbooks. So that is what we're going to be using next year again for my rising fifth grader. All right, guys. So overall, our 2023-2024 homeschool year went very well, I would say. We did have a lot of things to switch up. Did do we didn't do everything that I wanted to, but what we did do, we enjoyed, and what we did do, they did with excellence to their capabilities. So I am okay with that. Um, I have learned through this process that as long as we're doing our core subjects, we're okay. Obviously, as she gets older, there are going to be a lot more requirements considering her core subjects. But as of right now, that is what worked for us. That is how we did it. We enjoyed it. We're very, very, very excited for next homeschool year. It's going to be completely different for us, completely different approach, completely different curriculum, nothing that we've ever used before, but we are very excited. So, again, make sure to check out our playlist down below where all these amazing homeschool mamas are going to be sharing what worked, what didn't, how their homeschool year ended, what went well, what they're switching up. And again, thank you, Shauna and Davine, for hosting this collab. And make sure to check out the playlist. I'll leave it in the description down below. And if you like this type of content, make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you on the next video. Bye!